Hello. Okay, a few of you are here. Hi. I was just playing, don't mind me. This stupid thing verifying. Okay, good. I verify. Oh. Where'd all my money go? It's a good thing this isn't real. See food and win it. What? Oh, I'm rich. Okay. Okay. How are y'all doing? Okay. So let's talk today. Thank you for joining. This is another amazing master class for masters. Such as yourselves. And we're going to chat about something that I know is very important to a lot of you, which is credit card churning, which is what I like to do, and that's just what I spend a lot of my time doing. As I chat, feel free to put a message in the chat thing or in the DuckDeals Telegram. And ask me anything. And so today we're going to talk about rookie mistakes for credit card churners. And sorry if you hear a whole bunch of little beeps. I just bought a new iPhone today, and I don't know how to. I have phones everywhere and computers everywhere, and there's just things going off everywhere. This is my command center. That's the first thing you need to do when you become a credit card manufactured spender and churner and points and miles chaser. It's all sort of the same thing. Eventually, most of the money you'll make will be in your command center, most of the miles and everything you do. And so having a nice little office space will be very important to clearing your mind, keeping everything organized. Disorganization is a killer. So I guess that's the first rookie mistake, right there. If you are disorganized and you have a poor spreadsheet and you're not tracking everything, you could easily end up losing money or getting caught up in things, missing due dates on your credit card and paying interest and just going down a bad path. So organization is key. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the mistakes that I have made over the years. And I have to tell you, I'm fine with those mistakes. I'm not sitting here crying in a corner regretting anything. Because there is really no class besides the Ducks Master class that is going to teach you how to do all of these things. Because a lot of this manufactured spend, that sort of thing, is sort of fringe and it's seen as odd. And so, I haven't spent thousands of dollars. Now I know that there are some other speakers out there who these people bothering me. So I know there's other speakers out there who can who will charge you thousands of dollars or whatever. The Duck, I used to charge like $10 or something just to see if anyone was actually serious. But now I don't really charge for anything. You're welcome to see whatever I have to say on my YouTube, and it's for free. And I think that's the way it should be. I'm all about free things, so of course that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. All it'll cost you is a like and a subscribe. Is that asking too much? No, it's not. So, yeah, some people pay thousands of dollars to hear about the churning world, the credit card world. And yes, that'll help you, but making a few mistakes here and there is also going to help you. And in the long run, it's negligible, the amount that you might end up sort of losing. Because like I said, it'll come back to you in drones, not just droves. So, let's just talk about some of the mistakes that the duck has made that no one told me any better, or maybe people were trying to give me an advice and maybe I didn't listen to it. One of my favorite quotes is from Agatha Christie, and she says, what does she say? The best advice is almost certain to be ignored, but that's no good reason not to give it. So I'm going to give you all some advice, and I imagine some of you will probably ignore it, and that's okay because I would too. But eventually, once you've ignored it and made the mistake, then come back to this video and watch it, and then take the advice. So that's probably what's going to happen. And that's fine, because that's the way I am too. So, let's talk about some of the pitfalls, some of my little misadventures. And like I said, I'll be trying to check on this. Wow, there's some people here. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Look, I got 3 likes already. That's amazing. That all helps. Okay, so, I have this long list here that I've written down of all the kind of things that but every now and then you will get some good things. And I suggest whenever you find a play, okay, so what we do is we have our credit cards, right? And I have all kinds of example ones here. We've got our credit cards, debit cards, all of our cards that are going to make us lots of miles and points. And so you can travel the world like the duck and get tier matching status and get, cash. Cash is king, so they say. And get all kinds of free food and lounges and drinks. You know what I like. And these are sort of the key. This is where it starts, these credit cards. So if you find a play that is a good one, one mistake would be to tell everyone about it right away. Of course, if you have a close friend or someone who you can confide in, someone you work, but for the most part, we don't really tell everyone all of our secret plays, because if we do, then it could be, abused and brought to the attention of, the credit cards or the grocery stores, and then it could just go away, and then everyone loses it. So if there's a small group, maybe there might be a local churning group or something like that, where there's people you can trust, work with them, and always write everything down. I don't know if I think I said this in one of my, this was a long time ago, one of my other seminars, but I have this, I call this my churning recipe book. And one day, 100 years in the future, when I'm on another planet or something, my descendants or whatever, even though I'm never going to have children, are going to find this and say, look what the Big D used to do, and you could see all of my fun little tricks and plannings and so many flow charts. Oh man, remember this free gas one? Oh, that was pretty cool. Oh, remember PEI? That was a fun one. That had some very interesting tricks to it. Oh, the airline incidental trick. That was a good one. Oh, Delta Airlines. Ugh. Lime bike. You remember those little limes, those scooters? Well, there was a trick with that, believe it or not, and it was pretty cool with what it could do with USAA. I don't even think that works anymore, but it did for a while. Vanilla Visa cards. Ugh. You know, and write these things down. Write what works, what doesn't work. Make a map. You should have a map of all of your the places you go to in the area, and which ones are good and which ones don't. Which maybe like which Dollars General will accept Amex, and which ones are going to make you pay cash, and that needs to be avoided at all costs. No, the secret fridge at Bank of America. Well, that was a good one. Academy Sports and Dosh. Oh, remember that one? That was a good one. Oh, let's see. The City Double Cash Play. What was this? Oh, that was interesting. I've forgotten that one. Well, anyway. Chase ink cards. Remember those? Well, speaking of Chase, that's one thing that I could say that I sort of regret not really hammering out back in the early days. And if some of you know me, I've been doing this for well over a decade, back before the so-called 524 rule with Chase Bank. And I should have gotten more Chase back then before it became almost impossible to get new Chase cards. And I shouldn't have just canceled all of my Chases because I thought they were ugly or weird or whatever. And I did that a lot. You know, I would say if you're starting brand new, if I was starting brand new, my first thing I would do is if I had a clear credit line, I would go straight for a Chase Hyatt card. You know, that's just been my favorite card. It's given me so much in return for what it used to be $75 annual fee. Now it's like $95 or maybe $100. It's nothing in the grand scheme of things. That's a good card to have. Of course, I will say I have opened up a lot of cards, if you've probably known. I mean, hundreds, maybe 1,000. So many cards, well, maybe not 1,000, but maybe 400 in the past 10 years. Something like that. I mean, so many cards, and some of them I did, and I will admit, because I thought they looked funny, or I didn't really know what I was doing when I was starting. Of course, you may know about my Buc-ee's credit card. It has a beaver on it, and I just had to have it. And I don't think I've used it maybe more than twice in the entire time that I've had it. And I'm sure, well, I did get a credit pull for that. And, you know, I don't have any regrets. Yes, I got the one from Frontier. It has a manatee on it. And I thought it was funny. And so I got it. And I've never used that one either. I think it's so stupid. But what are you going to do? Live and learn, right? I have a lot of cards that I let go of and that I miss, and I should have done better with them. Here's my old Merrill Plus. It's got a a bull on it, but deep down I know it's a buffalo from those slot machines. This card, they got me on this one because I was doing a whole bunch of Simon Mall Visa gift cards back in the day when that was a big thing. And if you would look at my credit card statement, it'd be like 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, like even, like maybe 1,005.95 or something stupid. And it was clearly, like anyone could clearly see that it was just a big gift card. And then one day they just wrote me a letter and said that the card was no longer. I'm grateful that they let me keep my other Bank of America cards. There must have been some kind of a departmental segregation between the Merrill Group and the other Bank of Americas. But yeah, that card got lost, and I thought that was a good card. And I should have been more careful with that one. Another one that I lost, also speaking of Bank of America, the Better Balance Rewards. Now this card you can't get anymore, but if you had it for a while, you could have done well with it. All you had to do was like put, what was it, like $100? Like, I don't know, you had to put like a little bit of money on it and then pay it off, and then they would pay you cash for paying off your balance, right? You could have put anything, like put $25 on there, pay it off, and then they pay you. And you'd get like 100 a year or something like that. And I was just foolish, and I just couldn't be bothered. I was disorganized, okay? And so I let that one go. And then one day they wrote to me and said, "You haven't used this card for 3 years, and we're nixing it." And I was like, fine. I wasn't going to do anything with it anyway. Oh, this one brings tears to my eyes. The City Sears credit card. Now this one is so freaking badass. This little monster. They give you 10% cash back regularly. Back when I first got this card, I was like, well, that's not possible. How am I ever going to possibly do $1,000 in 1 month on this card? My God. I mean, I did that this morning, in the bathroom. So, yeah, I should have been more careful with that. I should have kept it. That's a really great card. If you have the City Sears card, don't let that go. Just use it and hold it. It doesn't even cost anything, and it makes me really sad. What other cards bring me sorrow? This one does. The Chase United Mileage Plus Club card. Oh, this little baby. Why was I so foolish to get rid of it? As soon as I canceled it, they brought a new United Club to my airport. And this could have got me in for free. I mean, I don't really like United, but this was a really nice card. And it was Chase, and now I couldn't get it if I wanted to. I shouldn't have just let this one go. I just let it go. I feel bad about that. But not too bad. Oh my gosh. These cards make me very sad. And if you looked at them, you'll probably know why. This is the almighty Bluebird. I let it go. Well, I abused it, and they knew. And of course, it's one VIP one. This was special. I don't have that one. And then the green one. These were these two were the ones that were fee free. They all were sort of on the same back end, the Bluebird and the Serve, and I just overdid it with them, and I was loading them, at Walmart or whatever, or I was doing it online. Yeah, I was loading them online from, from a credit card, and I did it too much. And then one day they wrote to me and said, they're canceled. And that was, 6 years ago. And one day, just as a joke, I decided to apply again, and they remember. I can't get another one of those. This one was my baby. The Uber debit card. Is that the Uber debit card? It's the Uber Visa card. Oh, there's another Uber debit card. You know which one I'm talking about. I have that in the office somewhere. that card, I should have done so much more on it. It lasted for 2 years, and I remember I bought a can of peas with it, and just to see if I would get 2% at Walmart. And then I tried for uh, my first money order with it, and it was like $100, and then I started going into 1,000, and I should have done more with that card. They never got angry. They never shut anyone down, except one day they just realized they were losing money, and then it ended. And a lot of these plays, of course, that Uber one was in this book. These plays, they come and go. When these companies realize they're losing money, they're not going to last forever. It's not like what we do is against the law or anything, but if banks and grocery stores are not happy with their return, they can close it up at any time, and they do. And so you sometimes don't let these plays and deals pass you by, because they'll be gone and they won't come back. But that doesn't mean it's all over. I mean, there's always going to be another play around the corner. There always is, for years and years and years. Years and years and years. It's always been. This is one big rookie mistake that I have not made. My oldest card, the J. Crew card, back in the days when I was fashionable. This card is like 15 years I've had it. I was just a kid. So clearly I must have had it, when I was age 4. That's the only way the math works. But yeah, I've had that card for a long time, and sometimes I want to cancel it because it's stupid and I haven't used it. But the Synchrony, or whoever runs it, has never canceled me for not using it, and the card has remained on my credit history for all these years. So your oldest card, always keep it. It will improve your credit history. It'll help you get approved for new cards. It shows your length of longevity in your credit, and that's a very, very, very important thing. So don't put that to waste. And speaking of putting things to waste, one thing that if you have a whole bunch of Amex Platinum cards, you need to make sure that you're fully using the value out of them, whether they're the business card or the personal one. I mean, keep a spreadsheet. You've got to. I've had times where I forget, or I've let one or two of them go. The most important ones are these airline incidental credits. Do whatever you need to do. It's easy with Southwest Airlines. Just buy a $100 ticket, just refund it, and put it in your travel bank. You can do it with United Airlines as well in their travel bank. Just make sure you use these airline credits to the full extent. I don't think Dell works too much with Xbox gift cards, but if they ever come back, do it. Just max out your Dell credit on the business platinums. Get those Xbox cards, sell them to the Duck, of course, and I will be happy to pay you for them. And the same goes for those Saks Fifth Avenue gift cards on your Amex card, the personal platinum. Go get them. Don't forget. Here we are halfway through the year. Have you done that yet? Have you gotten your $50 Saks Fifth Avenue gift card at your local Saks Fifth Avenue? Because you should. One person. How many platins do you still have? I still have a bunch. But that doesn't mean that I won't cancel them or anything like that, because a whole bunch of them I have canceled over time. of course, these fees have gotten ridiculous. These annual fees. It used to be what, 450. Now, like, we're getting closer to 800. And so you want to make sure that you're using them to their, to the full extent of what they offer you. So for my Amexes, go get your Saks Fifth Avenue gift card. And that brings me to another point. Try not to be so vocal about kind of some of the plays you're doing, because it freaks some people out, and it shouldn't, because it's perfectly fine and legal, but it does. For instance, I, the other day, was at Saks Fifth Avenue, and I was trying to buy some gift cards with my Platinum card, because, of course, I can resell those and get some value. Or you could buy one pair of socks for $50, which is just so dumb. Just don't do that. I know people do that, but just please don't. And I've done that. I got these 2 shaving creams. I mean, I could have got for $1 at Dollar Tree, the shaving cream. But, I couldn't be bothered with getting a gift card. Just get the gift card, okay? At least you'll get, $42 from me. And that's better than having something that you're not going to use. A pair of socks for $50, a tie. Just don't do it. So I was there at Saks Fifth Avenue, and I was like, yes, I like a gift card. And then you know what the lady says to me? She goes, oh, are you doing this as like the Amex benefit thing? And idiot that I am, I said, yes. Okay, that's a rookie mistake. Just say no. Just say, I just want a gift card from my mom for Mother's Day, right? And I said yes. And she said, oh, well, when people do that, they have to go online to do that. So they're kind of catching on at Saks Fifth Avenue. And I said, and then my way to get out of that situation was, I said, well, I still need to get something from my mom. So do you want me to use a Visa or something? Because I can't leave here without getting her something. And they were like, fine, you can use your Amex card and get it. But next time, and I was like, I don't need your lecture, okay? But in a way, it was my fault. I should have just said no. It was the whole Ghostbusters thing, if someone says you're a god or something like that, you say yes. Well, if someone asks you what you're doing for Amex or getting miles or points or benefits, just say no. Just say you like gift cards. Okay. So that was my mistake. And I'm not making that mistake again. I've made lots of mistakes. Back when the Samsung Pay thing was big with the gift cards, I went and bought, oh my God, how many? I can't even count how many of these freaking Samsungs I bought. I have a whole farm of them over there in the corner. And then today I just got a new iPhone, so I'm a mess. I'm a complete mess. I've got phones everywhere. I went and bought a whole bunch of those because it was like a great idea, because you could only buy 2 gift cards with Samsung Pay per cell phone per day. So I was getting, 12 of them per day, something like that. And then one day they just sort of like discontinued it and let you do it online. Now they don't even exist. So don't always go too crazy with paying for things. I mean, I did make my money back on those, but did I really need to have done that? Probably. I kind of regret that. And speaking of talking to people, since we're talking about that, never talk to the bank ever. That's like rule number 101, churning manufactured spend, ever. I mean, unless you have to, if they're calling you on the phone, do anything you can not to talk to them. If there's something weird in there, or you don't understand how your points are being applied or something, if it's too small, then just let it go. Just do not ever talk to the bank. All it's going to do is just put eyes on your account and just have them look. And if they think it's weird, if they think you're a risk or whatever, again, like I said, none of this is bad or immoral. But if they don't like you, they have every reason to just close your account, and they will, and they do. So just be careful with them. That's why I like working with cryptocurrency these days mostly, because it's so refreshing to not be judged for every little thing that I do, and just you know not have to deal with a bank so that I can have my money. What is this question? Wait, what? You own how many Samsung phones? Yeah, for a time I did have 6 of them, and I gave a few away. Yes, for the Samsung phone thing, it was you could buy them on eBay for like $50. You still can with cracked screens or whatever. I keep thinking on the final reason to use them, and sometimes there is. I used to do this thing with Western Union, which is sort of dead now, but it required MasterCard, so I was always having a whole bunch of MasterCards, and now that's gone, and I have all these MasterCards that I don't know what to do with, and maybe I'm going to cancel them, but then as soon as I do, there could be some other play, and it's just like so sometimes there's a little bit of hoarding, I would say, in this sort of world of credit card miles and points, because you never know what's going to be your next play and what you might be able to use. And if you cancel things all the time and throw them away, then when the day comes and there's this really awesome play that requires something, you might not have it. And you could find yourself, scrambling to try to get new things. So it's a kind of a fine line between over-hoarding with things you think might happen and not having anything at all. So, having a middle ground in that would be very smart, I think. And speaking of banks, one thing I say, and I don't know how many times I've said it in all my other seminar classes, never cycle with Citi. Be very careful with Citibank. Citibank is extremely powerful and beneficial to you. If you start cycling with them, they are going to shut you down. So don't do that. If you don't know what cycling is, it's when you have a statement, a monthly statement, period. You have 30 days. And if they tell you you're allowed $5,000 that month, then you spend $5,000 and that's it. Don't go and spend $5,000 and then a week later pay it off and then try to do another $5,000, because then you've done $10,000 in a month. And Citi doesn't like that. They gave you $5,000. You are allowed $5,000. Don't play with Citi, because Citi don't play. Okay. So be careful with them. Capital One as well. They don't play either. Amex though. And the Capital One Spark Business, those charge cards, yes, by all means, those are business charge cards. They expect you to put money on there, pay it off, and they encourage you to. Those are okay. But we're talking Capital One Venture, we're talking any of the Citi cards, basically. Just be really careful with cycling on those. I know it's tempting, especially when you've got a Citi Double Cash and they've only given you $2,000 credit limit. And you're like, what? I want my 2% and I want it on everything. But, just hold on to that card and pay it off, and eventually they'll reward you and make it $6,000 or $12,000 or whatever they decide to give you, which is, we live at their mercy. So we play their game. That's right. Citi don't play. That's right. This other question. Do you not worry about credit inquiries? At first you do, and back in the day when I used to do it, they would have these things called aporamas, when you would try to do multiple credit applications in a single day. I don't really think that works anymore, so because it would only sort of count as one on the credit bureau, so you do as many as you want in one day, but since I'm already well established and I can pretty much get any credit card I want at this point. I don't worry anymore. I have a very high spend to credit ratio thing or whatever, a good one in a good way. Like, I mean, if I wanted to, I could buy a Lamborghini right now. I won't be able to pay it at the end of the month, so that's a problem. But I have a huge amount of credit that I could use, if there was an emergency or something like that. But of course, I keep it low, I pay it off on time, and the banks like that. I'm a good investment for them, and so of course, my inquiries is not an issue for me. But speaking of cards and holding some and getting rid of new ones, or getting rid of some or opening new ones, one thing that's really important is retention. Always call, especially with Amex, to see if they will give you a bonus. Always, always, always. There were years where I didn't do it. I couldn't be bothered. And that's the only time you call the bank. Okay. Amex is kind of weird. I don't exactly understand the algorithm, and I've been trying to figure it out over these years. But for like each person, they'll like decide how much you can get, and that's all you can get. Okay? There's no negotiating it. So they might know that they might have somewhere in their records that you can call twice and get 2 retention offers in the year, right? And you don't know that, but you have to call and find out. And try not to do it on the wrong card. I've done that where I wasted a retention on like some stupid Amex Hilton card, like the low level one, only to call next week for one of my platinums and hear them say, nope, no retention on that. We're happy to cancel the card if you want to. So what you do is you're not threatening, but you say, I'm interested in canceling my card. Do you have any retention offers for the next year? And they say, well, why? And you say, well, it's a very high credit. I mean, it's a very high annual fee. And I don't think that what I get out of it is justified. And they'll say, well, we give you your Centurion Lounge. And you're like, yeah, but I have a few other cards that do as well. So it's like, is there anything you can do? And you can just go out and say it, and you don't have to call them. You can do it online. Is there anything you can do to keep me? But usually they'll offer it first. They'll send you to their retention, and they'll push first. They'll try to say, are you sure these benefits aren't good? And then you just say politely, no, it's just not working out. I get all these benefits from everything else. I just can't justify $695 a year, but I appreciate your help. And then that'll usually break them. And then they'll go on to the next part, and they'll say, well, we do have an offer for you. And they'll say, well, if you spend, and then they'll say something that they think is ridiculous, but of course we know it's not. If you can spend, $50,000 in the next 6 months, we will give you, 50,000 members or 60,000 membership reward points, and then that will sort of cover that annual fee. And you're like, well, 50,000 sure seems like a lot. And it's not like I don't sell to the duck, so okay. Then you say yes, and I appreciate your offer. And then you get that next year for free, and you don't have to pay your annual fee on that. But if you didn't call, you wouldn't have got that offer. So call. But be careful doing it with Citibank, because I've done that a few times, and then they're like, well, okay, yeah, we've canceled your card. And I'm like, what? You didn't give me a chance. I had a whole thing going on. I had the script. So Amex, though, try. And if they say no, that means you've used up whatever is on their little algorithm and their little form that they have, and you have to try again next year or something like that. So just be careful with that. Let's see. Another issue that I've had is, and one thing that I would recommend people be very careful with is if you're trying to buy something big like a house, they kind of don't like seeing the stuff that we do. So you need to have that all paid off before, and you have to be on pause, which is painful, and it will make you lose opportunity. It's opportunity cost. So when I was trying to get the mortgage on this house, Wells Fargo was so enraged and frustrated, their underwriters, at looking at my accounts and all of the money that was on all of these cards. And I told them I pay it off every month. And, I just have businesses and, Amazons and all kinds of stuff. And they were like, no, you need to pay all of this right now. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, but I need that money to come in from PayPal Key, or I need that money to come in from Flues, or I need that, I'm doing a little thing here that you don't understand. And they were like, no, you need to pay it off right now. And so I'd pay it off, but then there would be new charges, and then they'd catch those too. And eventually they wouldn't let me get a mortgage. And I had to do all kinds of interesting things with PayPal Key so that I could get cash and be able to get the house in a different way, which was still on a credit card. But you want to be careful when you're making a large purchase, something where banks are going to be looking at your entire credit history. And when they see you're doing all of this stuff with gift cards and other manufactured spend, it freaks them out, and they will probably deny you like they did me, which is crazy. But, I got the house anyway, so, joke's on them. But it still wasted a lot of my time. And I even lost some money because I had to pay like $600 for an inspection of this house for the mortgage, and I never got that money back because eventually Wells Fargo was like, we just don't like you. And then they not only did that, but they canceled my other accounts as well. So be careful. What was I doing? I was doing one of the cardinal sins. I was calling the bank, and I was trying to get something big out of them. And of course they could see everything that I was doing, and it rang so many red flags. And they just decided they didn't like me, that I was a risk. And they're within their rights to do that. They have their money. They want to give it to normal people. They want to give it to someone who has a little job, and then they go to work, and then they have like one credit card, and then they put, some groceries on it. Those people, and I like to think that we're, at a different level from those people. But, was the joke on me at that point? Maybe it was, because here I am thinking that, I'm clever and I've figured out some of these travel hacks and everything, but it bit me on the other side when I was trying to get the house. So, you got to be careful when you're dealing with banks. That's all I'm saying. So my advice to you is just keep going and doing what you need to do, and then just get the house in cash. You'll probably win. You'll probably win the bidding war anyway that way, because those people with mortgages, they never get anything. Those normies, like you said in the comments here, yeah, those normies, they ruin everything. Another problem that I had was also paying with too much cash. Be careful with that. When you do these kinds of churns and this manufactured spend, you can find yourself in a loop where you're getting huge amounts of cash. And maybe you want to move cash from one bank to another, and you're just doing it in actual cash. That's such a huge mistake, and I've made it myself. And like I said, Wells Fargo saw that I did that, and they were not happy, and now I can't do business with them ever again. So They just don't like when there's no paper trail with cash. And it makes sense. Clearly I'm not in the mafias or anything like that. And this is just cash. It's just money. There's nothing wrong with it. It's legal tender. But they don't like seeing that much amounts of it coming with no paper trail and being moved constantly. So it's within their rights to just close your accounts, and they can. So I'm always very happy when I can deal with cryptocurrency, because there's no one going to be, yelling at me or threatening to close my accounts because I'm just trying to move a dollar from here to there, So, be careful with when you are moving money. And here's another question. Do you ever go into hibernation for a period of time on card spend? No. No. I've been doing this for 10 years. I'll never stop. I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. I mean, it's their problem if they don't like me, the banks. They're not going to get, they make money off of these credit cards. They make like, a couple of percents. Amex gets 3% off of every charge. Yes, they're probably losing more on the membership rewards side in some way, or someone is losing money in some way. But, if that's what they want, if the grocery stores want to show that they met their goals this year because one person came in and spent $2,000 at the local Piggly Wiggly, and that was me. Maybe it saved someone's job because I spent so much money. Maybe it helped them meet their quarters. Now, whether they gave me fuel rewards on the other end of that, that's their problem. But, they need to they need to fix their own issues. So I'm doing them a service. But no, I don't, I'm not going to go in hibernation for anyone. No, I'm not going to go in hibernation for Chase. I'm not going to go in hibernation. This is what I do. And I can't, when you start getting into this, you can't imagine a life without this. And it's just so easy with some of these things and these deals, especially around Black Friday and all that. My good God, it's just free miles, free everything. I mean, why you can't, don't let that go. That'll be something you'll regret letting it go. There's always ways to get money in some other way. Buy the house with cash, deal with it. Put it in Bitcoin, who cares? Another problem that I think that some people do is hoarding. Back when you probably remember this was about 4 years ago, there was that people were doing the Citibank, they called it the gravy train, where they would go and they would apply for a new American Airlines card, and then they would do it over and over and over again and get a whole bunch of them. And each time they did it, Citi didn't really know, and so they got a big bonus. But eventually, Citi found out, and those people lost all their Citi cards. And, of course, they lost their American Airlines privileges too. But a lot of them were saying, oh, they stole 1 million of my points. And I'm like, fool, why did you have 1 million points just sitting there? And I get it. Sometimes you think, well, I'm going to go fly on Etihad in their little apartment thing, and I need this many points, but you don't really need that many points, okay? You've got to be using them, and you've got to be moving them or doing something with them. Never just hold that many points, because you never know when a program is just going to decide that they don't like you and then close you out and then take all of your points. And they are within their rights to do that, and you were the fool who left them there to take. Don't do that. Use them. I travel all the time. I'm using my miles, and even if I'm not, there's always some kind of gift card deals of some kind. All the programs have them. Capital One has it. Chase has it for your ultimate rewards. Thank You Rewards has it. You can go and get discounted Apple cards, sell them to the Duck. Turn those miles into cash. I'm not saying doing with all of them. Give yourself a couple of 100,000. Take yourself a nice first class trip. Go Delta One to wherever you want to go. Do something interesting. Go on these really crazy trips to Dubai, whatever you need to do. But don't leave all of your points in there. There's some people who have 20. I saw someone with 20 million. I was like, what are you, what? Why? And they're like, wow, one day I'll use it. One day could never come, you know? One day Amex could nuke you. Be careful with that. You will be very upset, and there's nothing you could do. Because if they feel like you gamed their system, which is, of course, sort of what we're doing, they can just go in and just take them all away. Just take them all away. It's all there. Well, you signed it already. So please, please use them. Go on a trip. I once had too many United miles, and I bought like a Belgian waffle maker. I've used it like once, but I didn't know what else to do with them. But I wasn't going to leave those miles in there forever. So please don't hoard your miles. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Please don't. And please be discreet. Because not only will you ruin it for you, but you would ruin it for the others in the community. We have to think about that. Like with these Costco deals. Yes, I know that this Instacart thing is really great, and you can go and get 2 of them, but don't get 30 of them over and over again, back and forth, switching different registers, because all that's going to do is you could lose your Costco membership. They're a private club technically, and they can have whomever they want, and they can also decide to just remove all those deals as they see fit if they think it's a rampant nationwide problem. So discretion and being sort of, humble about it. I don't know how to say it, but I mean, it's not like we have to be sneaky or anything. We're not doing anything wrong, but just don't be overly egregious about it, because that's what gets it shut down, not just for you, but for everyone else. Under the radar, yes, I see that quote. That's a good thing. I mean, not like we are radar worthy or anything. Like I said, this is not bad, but when you're too crazy about it, it can be a problem. We've all seen that we've all been there at Walmart trying to, load serve cards with a gift card or something like that, and there's always someone in front buying a bunch of money orders saying, you know what I'm doing, I'm getting miles of points. And it's like, okay, well, now no one's gonna get any, so thanks for your little story. And just be smart. A lot of it's and I don't say that like I'm only saying that because I've made those mistakes. Like I said, that's what shut down my Merrill Lynch card. I wasn't being too smart when I was getting those whole number Simon gift cards, and so I've been there, but if you're at the grocery store, if you're at Kroger, I can't even tell you how many times I've read people in different community groups saying, oh, well, I was at Kroger and I bought 500 for their little miles thing, and all of a sudden, one of their banks or Kroger itself is like, you're shut down. And they're like, why? Because you didn't even try to pad it with a pack of juicy fruit or something. Just come on. Don't make it look like all you're doing is buying gift cards. Pad them. Have discretion. Be logical about it. See it from the bank's or the vendor's side of view. Does it look ridiculous what you're doing? Does it look like you're only here for the miles instead of the actual purpose of the grocery store? If so, maybe you want to change your ways. Put these things in whole numbers, that sort of thing. Here's another question. What are your views on redemptions that are only 1 cent per mile? Does it matter? That's a really good question. Well, if the redemption is in if it's 1 cent, if it's actual cash, that's one thing because cash is king, right? So if you have 10,000 miles and you redeem them directly for $100 cash, that's pretty good. My opinion, my view on that is that that's a good thing, right? Of course, if you have a Schwab account, that you can make that 1.1 or something like that. But really, you should try for something better. When you're looking at the rates of these, like when I went to Paris a few months ago, I don't know if you saw that on my thing, and I wasn't really in the market for going to Paris. I've been there before, and I think it actually kind of smells, but I saw that the flight would have been like $3,000 or something like that in business class. But I saw that the redemption rate was closer to, it would have been like $1,000 if you had taken it, for like 100,000 miles or something like that. And I was like, this is a really good deal. So I think I'll just go. Plus, I don't want to keep those miles in there forever because you never know when they'll be gone. So I don't think it really matters too much if you're redeeming it for cash. But if you're going to redeem it for a really good flight or something, then just wait and look. There's so many resources out there that'll tell you when there's a really good deal, and you should wait for that because you'll regret it that you got. I mean, on that day when I booked the Paris flight, I also was going to go to New York. And I saw that it was cheaper to go to Paris than it was to go to New York in terms of miles. And I said, well, of course, now I have to go. So if you see a really great deal out there that's even cheaper than being domestic, you should probably take it because those won't come around all the time. So, that's something to do. Something else I would say that I kind of regret is maybe sometimes instead of taking my membership rewards and moving it to just 1.1% cash on Charles Schwab with that card, maybe I actually decided, well, since it's at Schwab and it's in a brokerage account, maybe I'll buy some meme stonks for fun. That turned out to be kind of a disaster. So maybe value cash a little more than I have in the past. And unless you're a very seasoned day trader, probably don't speculate too much with that cash or you'll just lose it all. Quite dramatically too. So that's one of my other regrets, but I like to try everything once, just for fun. Another thing to be careful with is your what accounts you use, your checking accounts. You should really have several, and there's really no excuse not to. They're free, most of them, and you'll get bonuses if you're starting out and getting your your welcome bonuses for various banks and checking accounts. So please get yourself a bunch, especially credit unions, weird little ones that won't have a big effect on you. One of the problems that I had was I overdid it with USAA, and USAA was my main account, which also insures this house and the Mercedes and everything else I have. And I just overdid it because it was so easy. With USAA, they don't really have banks, and you could sort of deposit anything you want, any cash you wanted, any money order you wanted, and then everything was just instant, and it was just so nice. And then one day I got that letter that we've all seen, and if you haven't, then it's kind of a badge of honor. It says, we just decided we don't like working with you anymore, and we're not going to bank with you anymore. Well, Why wasn't I doing that with some run-of-the-mill little credit union down the street? Was I not thinking? Perhaps I wasn't. Um, so, spread it out to those silly little accounts, especially if you're doing the money orders thing. And if they shut you down, it won't be the end of the world, because it won't affect all of your other main payments that you make, and it won't ruin a relationship you may have had for years and years with your bank. So now I've sort of learned from that, and my main bank stays, without any, tomfoolerishness. So that's something that I regret. Well, I don't regret, but I advise on. And also, just one thing I do is I bring all of my cards everywhere with me. I have this big money bag, like from a bank, and be careful with this. You don't want to be walking around the street with this, but like if you have it in your luggage or something, because you never know when you're going to need one of these cards. Maybe there's some sort of deal or something going on somewhere while you're traveling, and maybe you saw that you have a discount with one of these cards. Like, you kind of never know, and I don't know how many times I feel like I'm prepared when my wallet has 4 credit cards in it, and I think, well, one of these is good, and as soon as I get there, I forgot that I had that gift card for this place, or I had this credit card that would be perfect for that one, and I've messed up. So now I just take them all with me. Of course, if you have Apple Pay or something, just load them all in there, if they accept them, which they don't always. But I recommend that. And for the most part, like I said, just don't beat yourself up over these mistakes. This is all how you learn. This is, instead of paying those thousands of dollars for all of those other seminars who aren't the Duck, you may lose a little here and there, but that's the price of this course, this learning that you're going through. So all of it's important. Write it all down, keep it, and just remember what works and what doesn't. And what works for me may not work for you, and that's fine. So keep everything written, keep yourself organized, and know what works for you, and try to win this game. It's a tricky game, but you can do it. If I can, you can. So anyway, it has been 1 hour. Does anyone else have any questions or anything? Someone's buying Air Canada gift cards. Do you want Air Canada gift cards? Anyone have anything? Burning thoughts? Thank you for joining me. I think this is one of more popular seminars, and as you know, I do these every 2 weeks, so in a couple of weeks we'll do another one. Think about some topics that you might like. I have some interesting ones. I think I'd like to talk about cryptocurrency, which I'm very excited about, sports betting. That is kind of interesting right now, especially with how it relates to credit cards. There's just always something. There's always some new topics out there, so feel free to message me with anything you're interested in. We'll just chat about it. It doesn't hurt to talk, right? So thank you for joining me. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the DuckDeals chat, or you could send it to the email on the DuckDeals website. And I'm happy to look at it. I sort of respond to everyone every day. I actually have office hours, so I make myself carve out time for you people, to make sure that I look at everything at least once a day. So I'm happy to help you. I want you to be successful, because the more successful you are, the more hopefully you can help me with the gift cards and everything, and we can all be successful together. Yes, it looks like someone missed the stream, but yes, you can rewatch it now. YouTube's kind of weird. It'll show up at the bottom of my thing for a while of the YouTube channel, and then it'll go away, and then it'll come back in full HD 4K tomorrow. So I just let YouTube do its thing. But thank you for joining me. I'm excited to share more with you in 2 weeks' time. And everyone have a great night and go get those miles and go get that money and help the duck get money too. All right. Y'all have a good night. Safe travels.